demonstrators are calling for the resignation of their Prime Minister and the end to corruption in the Czech Republic. About 250,000 protesters gathered in Prague this Saturday, the largest citizens' movement since 1989. When exactly 30 years ago today, the Czech people led the Velvet Revolution against the communist regime. Those at the podium at the end of November 1989 led the democratic transition. Among them, Václav Havel. At the podium today, Benjamin Roll, 24 years old and training to be a vicar. His generation doesn't just want democracy, but a transparent state of law and an irreproachable political class. The Czech Republic's Prime Minister, Andrej Babiš, a businessman, is suspected of conflicts of interest.
He has huge influence on one of the biggest companies in Czech Republic. He owns the biggest media house. He's misusing these powers. He is getting more and more influence, and he is making pressure on public media and on justice, and this is really threatening for the future.
All Benjamin's family have joined him on the demonstration. His father Peter, also wearing a hat, was among those who rallied for the Velvet Revolution 30 years ago. A sound engineer, he set up the microphones for the heroes of the revolution.
30 years ago, I'd never have imagined we'd have to come back into the streets. What we're seeing is the result of a political class that has lost its morals, and we haven't been capable of preserving our democracy, so we need to demonstrate again. I think the situation today is a real problem. The new generation has our total support. We've lived through street movements, and we also feel responsible.
1989 to 2019, 30 years have gone by, and Czech families fear progress is starting to reverse. When Peter Roll was setting up microphones in Prague, a few hundred kilometres from there, Bratislava was the other epicentre of the Velvet Revolution. The former member of the European Parliament, Jana Sitsniacka, was just 15 then, but she demonstrated every day to put an end to communism.
I remember walking by just here. One of my teachers was secretly here. She was wearing a hood. She said, "Say absolutely nothing about seeing me." At the start, people would say, "They're just students." Then, "They're just actors." But the workers came, and it was really incredible to see all of those people. Musicians joined. The atmosphere was unforgettable. It was really something. We had tears in our eyes.
Her centrist and pro-European party, Žaludí, was born from last year's huge demonstrations. Just like their Czech neighbours, the Slovaks want an end to corruption after the murder of journalist Jan Kuciak and his partner, killed because he investigated a mafia close to power. A morning debate on Pravda TV. Juraj Šeliga is a candidate on the same list as Jana for the general election in 3 months' time. A crucial moment for Slovakia, he says, just like 30 years ago.
What happened after the murder of Jan and Martina was exactly what was happening in 1989. Beauty of our people that they are able to being a very peaceful and strong in their position to call for a truth, for a responsibility and for a justice.
But after the unity on the street against the Smer party in power for the last 13 years, young Slovaks have broken up into different political parties.
There are disagreements between the opposition parties, which is a shame because if we want to change the country, we need to know how to cooperate.
And in Bratislava, it isn't clear the desire for change will translate into votes in February. A photo session for Milan Knečko, one of the leaders of the Velvet Revolution. Still in frontline politics, he's calling for an end to all practices like corruption throughout the former Eastern Bloc.
This thing that governs us, this group of criminals, to put it clearly, has been around for the last 13 years, like stagnant water. It's a cesspool. The politicians have adapted the democracy to their own ends. The Slovaks, but also the Czech, Hungarian, and Polish politicians are very talented when it comes to using the law to profit themselves. It's all rotten, and exceptional measures need to be taken if the elections don't turn out well, because it's all becoming quite dangerous.
In Slovakia and the Czech Republic, the new generation is educated, free, and highly demanding about the state of law, but it's yet to find its political leaders, the people who can take over from the leaders they abhor.